do that one. It's beautiful. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's 2025, and at this point, I know we are already late for it, but I want to talk about 5 books I really enjoyed in 2024. Now, why is it only 5? I know a lot of people have, so many other books to talk about, but I wanted to only recommend the ones that I absolutely enjoy. I didn't have to go back into my like archives to look at which books I want to recommend. Those books came to me without any help. Not one thing of help. I would suggest you grab your drink of choice, buckle up, and let's dive into it. Cheers. Hi. Quick intermezzo from editing Jelena here. I had to change my video concept from 5 books to 6 books because there's one book that needed to be in there, and it's the Red Rising trilogy. Why was it not in my first perusal? Because I didn't read it. It was an audiobook. It was it was the first audiobook my husband and me really read on our big car rides. And I'm gonna tell you, Red Rising is so good. It's so well deserving to be on this list because A, the audiobook was fantastic, but 2, the whole series is so captivating. It's a space opera, and there's so much drama going on. Like one time we were like driving home and I was driving like past our house because I was so enraptured into that story. I swear I did. Read that or listen to that one because the audiobook actually is narrated by someone who has an Irish accent. Kinda magical, I tell you. So go and read or watch this one too. So the first book that we are talking about is none other than One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I read that book in October and it was a really good vibe check because it's a gothic fantasy. It has very gothic vibes. It's dark in a sense of like the language and the world is dark, while I wouldn't say the contents are dark per se. It's a duology. The second book is Two Twisted Crowns, and it's a beautiful book. Basically, we are following Elspeth in this book, who is cursed by dark magic and has a special friend, and she needs basically to survive and navigate political intrigue, and has to find a way to save all her loved ones. And I mean loved ones, it's like loved ones. There is a subplot. I want to say subplot. There is romance in this, but it's not the main motivator, I would say. One Dark Window was a 5-star for me last year, and I can only recommend if you like the vibey gothic atmospheres. This one is it. The next one I want to recommend is maybe something you wouldn't expect from me, since I only last year really discovered romances for me, like contemporary romances, not like fantasy or paranormal or anything like that. Contemporary. And this one is Happy Place by Emily Henry. Emily Henry, since then, is an insta buy for me. Like, I love her books. I just love her books. I picked this one up specifically on our yearly wedding anniversary trip on the airport to read over the weekend. So it was very touching. This is about ex-fiancés who meet a group of friends well, they do an every year kind of like trip to a specific place, and they pretend they're still together with their friends. What's so special about this book is, while yes, it's a romance, it's about so much more. It's about friendships, it's about personal growth and the complexity of really long-term relationships. There's heartbreak in it. I thought on at the airport. I remember we were flying back from Mallorca, I think. We were flying back and we were sitting at the airport. My husband was reading something and I was just like sobbing through the end of that book. So no. Because it was just so beautifully done. I recommend this for you if you want to have a romance that is like more, that is more, that is deep, that is touching you in a way you wouldn't have expected from a book that's called Happy Place. Love this book. 5-star, by the way, 5-star read as well. Now the next book that I chose for this video or for this list is a book that I slept on, I have to say. It was never really on my periphery, and only last year I kind of picked up on it, and I read it also last year. I wish I had really picked it up earlier, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by B.E. Schwab. It's a book about a girl, a woman who is granted eternal life, but also cursed that everyone forgets who she is after they met her. Only centuries after, there's someone who then will remember her. What's so special about this book? It's a 5-star read, hands down, a million. V.E. Schwab is a master in lyrical prose. She is. Like, that book is so beautifully written. It's a flow. It's like, you know, it's so masterfully done. It feels like a spring morning. It really does. I don't know why. But like, it's so delicate and so fresh and so beautifully done. I cannot recommend this book more to you. Also, the way she explores in a book like immortality, grief, identity, because when no one is remembering you, like, it's how do you identify? I mean, yeah, there's sort of like internal stuff out, but like, how do you identify? And also the way, what is she leaving behind if everyone forgets her? Like, the desire of like humans wanting to leave a lasting mark on history in the world. It's a very interesting way to go about that topic. This book is also very emotional and has like a little twist that maybe becomes apparent, but is still a twist that you might not have anticipated. But again, it's beautifully. I said, like, now I'm sitting here contemplating when I read that and how beautiful it was and how many emotions it invoked. Because like, seriously, V.E. Schwab is also Insta for me from now on. I do have other books on my bookshelf that I want to read this year from her, but like, go do that one. It's beautiful. Now, for the next 2 books, I don't have a physical copy. So I'm just gonna show you my little phone. So, as you just saw, the 4th book is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Now, it wasn't a 5-star read for me, per se, which is fine. but I still remember it it's just there. Like, I read so many books last year that I don't remember that I read it. It's a little bit like, eh, you know, embarrassing to admit that, but that book, so beautiful. So beautiful. Now, The Dead Romantics is a story with magical realism. It's a ghostwriter who sort of falls for her editor. I'm not saying more because I don't want to spoil you, and I don't remember the synopsis of it. So the book explores grief so much in a very realistic way, at least for me. And you feel like it's not a happy story per se. While it's super, super happy, there's a happy ending. It's a romance, so of course there's a happy ending, but like there's a lot of like ups and downs, and it's always muted emotionally wise. And it's like, for me, it was brilliantly done. Now, it's, I said it was like muted, but there are so many funny moments in that as well. That's what I mean. It's beautifully done. Yes, it's muted and it's thoughtful. However, there are like tiny moments of like fun and happiness in there as well, and humor. So there is definitely a balance in that. The banter I remember was chef's kiss. Beautifully done as well. Again, not a 5-star read, but a book I happily recommend to people who like romance, especially for those girlies like me that do like a little bit of magic and fantasy in their books. Now, the last book and the fifth book, by the way, there's no order here. I am just gonna tell you anything I think about, so that's fine. The last book is, let me get it. The last book is Phantasma by Kaylie Smith. Now you are asking, why would you include this in such a big, such a significant list? And I'm going to tell you why. I could not stop reading this book and not stop thinking about it. Literally, like, even I did read it in October, and it's now January. 4 months later, I'm still thinking about the book. Not because it was so well done. Like, we had One Dark Window and V. Schwab on this list, and the prose in those books are so good. Not the Phantasma was not like there's no special art in the writing. However, the vibes were so good. So, okay, Phantasma is about a woman who encounters a ghost and then is partaking in a competition to save her sister's life. It's basically a traveling circus. I want to say it's a house, but it's a traveling circus. Like, it reminded me a little bit of Caraval. However, I don't like Caraval, so I don't want to make that comparison. It reminded me a little bit of Caraval. However, it's dark. There's lots of uh, darkness in this book, which just adds to the vibe. It is more a gothic vibe, and it plays in New Orleans, which I loved. I think what makes this book so special is the atmosphere. Just like there was something special about the vibes, and I can really appreciate an author who can transport me into a world and have me feel the atmosphere. And I just realized now that I'm talking through all those books, eh, um, a lot of a lot of books that I do appreciate have vibes going on. Interesting. I mean, I knew that, but like this selection makes it even more poignant. We're not going to be doing honorable mentions because I really want to present really my I want, like, this is the reason why this video is coming out so late in the month, because I went back and forth on the format of it and what books to recommend, and I had honorable mentions and I had more genres and I don't know what, but seriously, I wanted to present books purely because I remember them so well, because I love them so much, because I might reread them every year, because they were so well done. I wanted to give you a list of books that left a mark. And I hope they will leave a mark on you as well. In a good way, not in a bad way. So, if you have read them, please come discuss them. If you want to read them and then discuss them, come back then later. I'm like so interested in what you have to say. If you don't agree, that's also really cool. And let me know why. Because, like, I read those books in a very specific emotional state, and that will impact how I feel about the book. And I hope I see you then for that next time. Have a good one. Bye.